Good morning, my Teaserking family. How is everybody today? It's cold. So I'm going to go through the weather of these games. There's a couple of big plays I made based on the weather. My theoretical thesis is if it's like very, very cold, there's not going to be a lot of points. You're not going to be able to throw the ball the way you normally can. Which means you don't want turnovers, which means you run more. And as we saw in our Army Navy bet yesterday, we go under in that game every year, and we're rewarded again with the under. And that's what I think you're going to see here is a lot of running in these games, a lot more than passing. You've got some games with offensive linemen that are hurt. We'll get into that, which doesn't give you time to throw, which gives you probably more running and more defense, more field goals. It's just harder when you don't have your full offense, and the other team knows that. They're going to play you to run a little bit more. So you've got to look at this as an opportunity. You have Brady Cook for the Jets. You have Pickett for Oakland. You have Mariota for Washington. You got Prime Jr. You take advantage of these shit quarterbacks. Now, I know the line's adjusted, 10, 12, 13 points. So you either line it or you total it. And you got to be careful with that. Our free play today is Denver getting, initially it was getting 3. That's down to 2. Green Bay, not a good road favorite. Denver 13-0 in a teaser. Denver, it's not like they don't have to win. This is a big game for them. They're at home where they're undefeated. And, I got them winning 20-17. I think it's a defensive game. You got two really strong defenses. But you got 60 degrees there, so you don't have a weather day. So I'm not really sure about the total on the game. That's why I gave you Denver and at the time 9 or 8 points. I just feel that Green Bay is not a good road favorite. And yeah, they beat the Lions 31-24. But the Lions are, a very weak defensive team. You're not going to get that. And then they're not going to score 31 on Denver today. Denver might put up some numbers, but again, you got Micah Parsons. So probably a low-scoring game, as I was saying, 20-17. And I'm also helping you with the Detroit game, 40-32. The Rams indoors. Lions, strong offense, no defense. Their 2 safeties are out. The cornerback's out. Hutchinson's out. He's playing, but he's playing like he's out. His leg's obviously bothering him. People think you can snap your leg in half and go play football. Less than a year later, are basically on drugs. You got to be kidding me. And even now, he's still, you can see he's ginger with it and he's worried about it. And, he's just not the same guy. Maybe next year he'll be back to his old form, but he's not ready. He shouldn't be out there. And then the idiots gave him like a $30 million contract, which is incredibly stupid. Once you break your leg like that, you're done. I mean, you shoot him and, take him in the back and shoot him like a horse. You can't sit there and just, not worry about that. So you've got to understand that you broke it in half and you think he's just going to come back like nothing happened. I mean, it's just pure stupidity. So let's go through the lines. Well, let's go through first. We have Army Navy yesterday. We have the game under, and Army wins 17-16. And it's a W. We have under 39, so it's under 45. They play a 33. But that's what you expect. A lot of running, a lot of time control. So when I say it's an Army Navy game, which I will use that term in games that I feel will be a lot of running or the quarterbacks suck, that's what I mean. It'll be low scoring because They always play a low scoring game. They always run it. They're playing not to lose. Um, it was a field goal game, and then Navy at the end scored, uh, threw a nice touchdown to win it. Navy was the better team. I did expect them to win, so they actually covered in a teaser 6.5 down to a half. But I played it smarter, which is the total. As I say, there's always 4 ways to win: the team A, team B, over or under, and you got to know the team to determine what it is. In this game, they're both taking 10-minute drives and kicking field goals. You're not getting over. You get over with turnovers. You get over with throwing long passes where the guy breaks it. But when you're playing an Army Navy game, you're not getting the long runs usually, a little bit, but not usually, and you're not getting long passes because neither team really throws. Navy's quarterback's very good. Army's, they switch quarterbacks. What I like is people are going, well, who should Michigan get to be their coach? I would get the Army coach. He's a great coach because he takes a bunch of, are they even football players? These guys go to the Army and the Navy as soldiers, and he usually has a very competitive team, a very strong defense. You'd be lucky to get this guy as your coach, or the Iowa State coach would be a good coach. I wondered why my phone was on. I'm seeing this light, and I'm going, what the heck? All right. So let's. All right, let's look at the other game was Boise, Washington. I had no interest in the game. You never know if team players are sitting out or not. So in this situation, my friend Ron said, well, you didn't mention the Boise game. Well, I didn't really have an interest in it. I said, play it over. It's the only way I can see it. It was 52, so you'd go over 46. And I turn it on, it's 3-3. Then Washington goes crazy, and it's 31-3, then 38-3. Some turnovers in the end zone by Washington. They went to the backup quarterback. I don't know why, or Boise, and he sucked. And basically it ended up where Boise scored late and made it 38-10, so 48, and the over did win, but I didn't play the over. Again, it's too hard to figure out. Washington's a very good team, but you don't know if they're going to try in a meaningless bowl game. Plus, it's such an early bowl game. You're still playing Army Navy, and you got a bowl game. So there's going to be a bunch of every day these bullshit Conference USAs and Sun Belts and MAC teams in these bowl games. Really stupid and boring, and it's all for TV. Like we look at tomorrow, we got Troy and Jacksonville State, or Tuesday. What's the point? Why are these teams even 500? Are we really going to watch the game? No, it's to get you to bet on it and the TV revenue. That's what you're getting down to is basically high school games that nobody gives a shit. Nobody will be there. The stands will be empty, just appearance. You got Lou Lafayette, Delaware, Missouri State, Arkansas State, Kennesaw State, Western Michigan. Then you finally get like a Memphis, NC State, and a Toledo, Louisville. And, it's like, really? These are bowl games, and, they're on TV. Why? But most of them are on ESPN. I don't get, and I can't get because I have Spectrum or Spectre, and they don't carry ESPN, so I can't even get them. And I don't care, but I'll watch them on YouTube. Doesn't matter. I just watched the Army Navy game on YouTube yesterday because I was at the pool, and I saw a 7-7 score, and I waited and wanted to see the end, and I got 17-16. So it was a good one. Anyway, I got done with a pro game today. So let's take a look at the pros. Then we'll get into gold and silver. Uh, Mark McGuire, $8,000 gold price because of demand. Silver will go through the roof. Um, Real quickly, what's happening in silver is the price is going up. So people are panicking because nobody understands it but us. If you understood it, you would have been buying silver when we did 5 years ago at $25 an ounce, knowing that this was going to happen. I knew this was going to happen 5 years ago. So what happens is you have a very limited supply. So you have, I think it's, was it Samsung or one of these big companies in China or Hong Kong or somewhere uh, panicking. So they want to buy a lot of physical silver because they can't sell their phones or whatever electronic devices without the silver. So you make it all. So it's like making a computer. Oh, wait, I need silver in it. So I better buy it now while it's at $60 before it goes to 500. So that's what the panic is to try to get it now. It sounds like massive hyperinflation. You go to the grocery store and you buy milk and bread because you're not, because it's only, this is what happened in Germany. They would go to the grocery store and buy milk and butter and bread and whatever, let's say $10, because they knew it would be $15 the next day. So as so they're buying it, trying to beat the price increase. So that's what you basically have is a hyperinflation scenario in silver. People buying the silver to get ahead of the silver going up in price because they can't control it anymore, right? China now controls the silver market, not comex. So comex was keeping the price down. Nobody cared. But they thought they had silver, but they don't. JP Morgan does not have the silver anymore, as I showed you yesterday. So they're out. So now the panic is, well, China's not going to sell it to us. Russia's not going to sell it to us, or India. So now a Samsung and some of these big companies that need it for the phones, the computers, and whatever else, solar panels. So they're jumping into the silver market to buy physical before they can't and before the price hits 500. So that's what's happening right now. So we just sit back, we bought, and we go, here we go. So that's what's happening, and it's just going to keep going up and up and up. Nobody in their right mind shorting it because they don't have the metal. If you short, they're going to ask for delivery because it's the cheapest way to get the silver is to go on Comex, see it at $63 an ounce or 62, and say, I want to buy it. And they buy it on Comex because it's cheaper, but they'll all ask for delivery, and that's the difference. So asking for the delivery makes it so why would you short it? Because that means you're going to have to come up with the silver or gold, which you don't have. JP Morgan is out. They've lost their vault, as I showed in yesterday's video. I can replay that. And that's what's happening. So with that said, just anybody with gold and silver, Mark McGuire, $8,000 gold. He says $140 silver. I say $500 silver on its way to 1,000. Because once it runs and people need it, and there's a lot of demand for silver itself in the real, which is our physical world, there's a lot more. I hope I don't lose my internet. All right. So with that said, that's what you're looking at, right? So you just keep buying it at 60. That's why I warn you, you better buy it now. And not only is it 60, which is dirt cheap, but you can still get it. Soon, all the mints have stopped because they can't get it. So any new orders coming in from the mint will be delayed if ever even responded to. So that's your real problem is you want it, but it won't be available or the price will be so high. So that's why the panic now is to buy it as quick as can before there's no more silver to buy or the price is so high. Now, a lot of these bigger companies, they don't care about the price, but they won't be able to get the physical. And again, we sit back and we're not selling an ounce. When it hits 500-600, we might sell a few ounces. When it hits 1,000, we might, but that's not our game. Our game is not the profit take. Our game is to let it go, let it go, let it go. And our value just keeps going up and up and up. But we're not in this. The problem, because we can't profit take because we then end up back in the dollar. And that's not what we want. We're getting out of the dollar. This is worthless. So we don't want to sell to get back into this. So maybe we sell to buy a house or buy a car, or maybe we sell to buy a Mantle card or another asset. If you buy an asset, it's okay, but you don't want to get back in the paper. So if you're thinking of buying a house or a car, yeah, you can trade it for that. And I would just give them the gold for the house or the car. I wouldn't fuck around with the dollars. That's ridiculous. So you'll be buying the house with the gold. And you won't have a mortgage. You'll be paying 2 ounces for the house. There's no mortgage there. Anyway, all right. So let's look at football. It's 11 o'clock. Game start at 1. Some at 4. Some at 4:30. One tonight. One tomorrow. All right. Arizona, Houston. Houston 10.5, 42.5. A lot of injuries for Arizona, like last week. I don't like their coach. Houston, must-win game. Here, you have no weather. It's a dome. So Houston's playing well. They beat Buffalo. They beat Kansas City. So they're playing really good ball. They're 8-5. Jacksonville's 9-4. They got to catch them. They're still trying to get a wild card. Beating KC help, but they're still behind San Diego, and they're behind Buffalo. So they need to win. It's a must-win game, and they're playing a Z team in Arizona. Arizona is a Z team with a 34 defense and Brissett, and Houston is a B team with an 18 defense. So you can always bet on defense, and Houston in a must-win game. It's 10.5, 42.5. I'm sure you can get 10s. I have bet it early at 9, and there was 9 and 9.5. So again, you don't want to come late to the party. And again, that's why this closing line value, I don't understand it at all. I certainly don't wait for the closing line. I'm too quick for that. I know exactly who I want to bet and when I want to bet it. And as soon as I see the line, I'm betting it. Army Navy under. I didn't wait for the closing line. I bet that Thursday, I think. And the same thing here with these pro games, the Detroit, the Denver game, some of the other games. I bet, as soon as I say it, because I know where the line's going. I can understand what the closing line is going to be. I know they're going to be betting on team A or team B. All right. Anyway, Jacksonville 14, 40.5 against the JETSs. The JETSs are a Z team with a 30 defense, and they're going with Brady Cook, who I think was at Missouri, who's never played in the NFL. Good luck there. Jacksonville, the A team with the 18 defense, and Trevor Lawrence, who sucks, but they're running the ball more, and he's running the ball more, and it's short passes, so they're not letting him throw the interceptions. They're 9-4, game up on Houston. I would say they need the game. It's at home. It's 70 degrees there, so you're not really getting a weather issue. And the thing I like about Jacksonville is they got an 18 defense, so they're going to, so it's going to be hard for the Jets anyway with Brady Cook. But, okay, if they're 25, 26 defense, like the Lions, you can score on them. But in this case, an 18 defense of the Jets with Cook, they're not going to score a lot. So look for Jacksonville there. Oakland goes to Philly. Philly 12.5, 37.5. Oakland, a Z team with the 25 defense, and they're going to Kenny Pickett. Geno Smith's injured. He finally waved the right flag. Get me the hell out of here. Philadelphia, an under team with an 18 defense and Hurts. Now, what does that mean? An under team, they don't score a lot. Their offense is shit. Hurts is terrible, and they need to trade him and get the first and get Pavia. Then they would win the Super Bowl every year like Mahomes does. But a real strong defense, 18 defense. Jalen Carter is out today, but they have enough defense. Oakland with no offense, and if you're going to pick it, he's going to try to run, they'll be all over him. He can't really pass. Philly now off of 3 games in a row, 3 losses in a row. They're 8-5. They're okay in the division. Dallas is 6-1, but they're falling from the wild card. You've got the Rams, Seattle, and San Francisco. That's a winner and 2 wild cards. There's 1 wild card left. And if Philly can't afford to slip down, you've got possibly Dallas, possibly Detroit, and then Green Bay, Chicago. So one wins the division, and probably the other one wins the wild card. So very important games for Chicago and Detroit today. So Philly should win. They're not going to lose to the Oakland. Okay, the question is they're laying 12.5. I got a feeling they're going to beat you I got my score 24-0. I have a feeling they're going to score a little bit more. They're going to run the ball. A little bit of weather there. It's 25 degrees. I'll go through the weather in a minute. Washington goes to the Giants. The Giants 2.5, 46. You got Mariota against Dart. You've got Z team in Washington. Their defense sucks. They give up 32, and they're not scoring. Philadelphia Giants are a W team with the 31 defense. They score a little bit more with Dart, but both defenses suck. It's a 47. It's a little bit of a weather, but not too bad. Possibly maybe you get an over here. Mariota moves the ball. Dart doesn't understand what he's doing. Getting concussions, like, dude, you're the quarterback. You got to slide. You can't take hits because there's nobody to replace you, because they can't pay other quarterbacks a lot. So they get one decent one and two heck quarterbacks. Buffalo, New England. Buffalo is up to 2.5, 49.5, probably 1.5, 2.5. Buffalo, the over team with the 24 defense. New England, an 18 with the 19. Again, 49.5. Allen against May. Boy, this is a tough one because I was like, why isn't New England a 3-point favorite at home? I don't understand that. Buffalo's not that strong on the road. New England doesn't need the game. They're 11-2. They're the 1 seed with Denver. So there's really not that urgency to win. They're fine. They're probably in the playoffs, and here comes Buffalo. Buffalo has the urgency. If they want to catch them, they have to win this game. Also, they have to keep winning for the wild card. They should be one of the three. If they lose this game, they'll be 9-5. You've got San Diego at 9-4. You've got you've got Indy at 8-5. Well, you got Houston. It's Houston and Jacksonville. Houston 8-5. Jacksonville 9-4. Buffalo 9-4. So, but Buffalo lost to Houston. So Buffalo loses this, they're 9-5. If Houston wins, they're 9-5 but ahead. And if Jacksonville wins, which they should, playing the JETSs, then they'll be 10 wins. And you got San Diego 9-4. And we'll get to that game in a minute. So Buffalo is probably more desperate than New England. New England, see, that's the problem. New England's relaxed. Hey, we can afford to lose. We're 11-2. They want to win, but they can afford to lose. Buffalo, I don't think, can afford to lose this game. However, they're not as good on the road. New England's they beat them the first game. So I would think you'd get a split, but I would have locked. If New England was 3, it's a Buffalo 9 lock. But I'm not getting that. I'm getting Buffalo favored. So it makes it difficult. So I think Buffalo has to win the game. Sure and simple. San Diego goes to KC. KC is 641.5. KC's tackles are out. San Diego's tackles are out. What do we got? We got both teams are under teams. They're not scoring. A lot of it is Mahomes. His offensive line hurt. Kelsey looks like shit. The receivers are not getting open. The running. Pacheco's been injured. So it's Mahomes running around, trying to find guys, throwing it to Kelsey, watching him drop the ball. So it's really tough for Mahomes right now. You can't blame Mahomes. You blame Kelsey, and the defense has played well, but not great. 24 defense. San Diego, same thing. Tackles are out. Herbert's playing with a broken left hand. He's running around like an idiot. Herbert's really stupid, I think. But they have a 20 defense. You got a 20 defense and a 24 defense. You've got 15 degrees also. So Kansas City's in a do or die. They lose, they're out. 6-8. They're gonna at best go 9-8. Not gonna make, because San Diego would be 10 wins if KC loses. San Diego wins. They got 10. Denver, New England already have 11. Then you got to see about Buffalo, and then Houston's already beaten them. Jacksonville's already beaten them. They did beat Indy, but Indy doesn't have a quarterback. So very difficult to see. I can't see Kansas City at home losing this game. If Mahomes has to run every play, he'll do that. But I just see KC having to win and winning the game. Now you got cold weather, which has to help KC because San Diego, warm weather team playing in a dome, is not going to react very good to cold weather. And I got 17 degrees, but we'll take a look at the weather. Baltimore, Cincy, this is the game that I'm so confused. Baltimore 3 and 51 and a half. You've got 12 degrees with wind chill. It's probably 1. How is this game still 51 and a half? Where are you getting the points from? It's fucking 0 out. Burrow can throw a little bit. How many passes get dropped by the cold? Lamar can't throw anyway in warm weather. Lamar, what's he going to do? He'll fake an injury because he's always injured. I don't see how this game goes to 51 and a half. Now, I love this game. I was going to lock this game over. Just any normal, if they give me 30 degrees, it's a lock over, like I locked the Cincinnati Buffalo over last week, which they got an 80-point game. But I don't know how in 0-degree weather are you going to get 51 and a half. In our world, keeping it over 45 and a half. I'm ready to go under with this game, but I can't. It's Joe Burrow and Lamar, it's Cincinnati's weak defense. So when I look at it, Baltimore's an under team with the 21 defense and Lamar, and since he's an over team with a 33 defense and our man Joe Burrow. I don't see where you get this. Would be an over any other time. I can't, but it's hard for me to go under in a game that I normally want to go over with. But I don't see how you're going to get the points, and I don't see the line moving. It's 51 and a half. Like it's a sunny 45-degree day in Cincinnati. It's going to be hard for them to throw the ball at 0. I don't care. I go out for a walk and it's 0 here. I'm not throwing a football. I'm not catching a football. I don't know. It's going to be tough. Greg and John, good morning. So I don't know. I don't understand this game. Initially, this was lock over. Baltimore, Cincy, lock over. 45, and I'm ready to bet it. And then I see this weather, and I'm like, so I couldn't bet it. I bet it a different way, but I couldn't bet. I couldn't bet the over, and I'm really torn wanting to bet the under, but I can't. I was going to bet the under. I was going to bet the over with Denver, and then I'm like, well, I can't, and I got to go a different route. So it's unfortunate, but this is what the weather does to you. You get 0 degrees, you're not lighting up the scoreboard. I remember the Cincinnati-San Diego playoff game in 81 when they went to play Montana in the Super Bowl. And it was 26 below 0 in Cincinnati, and San Diego with Dan Fouts and all those. And since he won like 24-0. Dan Fouts, they couldn't catch the ball. He couldn't throw the ball. I mean, that was 26 below, but this is 0. Big difference. So I can't justify playing this game over. I did my head examined, and I don't want to get my head examined. Cleveland goes to the Bears. The Bears 7 and 38 and a half. We got an under team Cleveland with Myles Garrett and pretty good defense. 24 defense against the Bears, who are playing well. They're an E team with a 21 defense. Now they lost to the Packers 28-21 in a cold day. Not as cold as here, but here you got Prime Jr. And Prime Jr. is no Love, and Love's no Mahomes or Burrow. Love's okay, he's average, but here you got Prime Jr. What's he going to do in the cold weather? He's going to cry to daddy. Prime, give me a blanket. Prime against Caleb, two kind of subpar quarterbacks. But Chicago showed you they can run the ball down your throat, which leads you to an Army-Navy game. I would expect Cleveland to do the same, running more in the cold weather. This is below 0. I've got this at 10 degrees, but with the wind 20 below zero. You're not scoring a lot in this game. How can you? This is how you play the weather. If it's a very windy day, it's an under. Rain, you don't care about. Maybe a little bit under, but not necessarily. Snow's an over because I know where I'm going and you don't. It really doesn't affect anything, and it's just snow. Wind, yes, under. Cold, yes, under. How are they going to throw and catch? The ball won't even go. You won't have these long field goals. And kicking the ball is like kicking a brick. So the Bears need the game 9-4. The Browns 3-10, lost to Tennessee last week. But the Bears do have a decent defense. They've had some injuries. I think they got their linebackers. They look pretty good against a good Packer offense. And here you got basically cold weather, Prime Junior, Caleb. Where's your points? So this again, the weather will kill it. Indy goes to Seattle. Seattle 1441.5. You got a little bit of rain, no weather. It's 60 degrees. Indy, a W team now with the 26 defense. So as you've lost your quarterback, your defense got worse, Daniel Jones. Seattle, an A team with a strong defense of 15. We've got Phillip Rivers against Darnold. I'm sorry. Phillip Rivers hasn't touched the ball since 2020 in a competitive game. He might have thrown, he's got 10 kids, so he might have thrown the ball with his kids, maybe. He's not throwing to any receiver or anything. Maybe for a day or two. You've got a 15 defense coming at you, and you got a guy that hasn't thrown the ball in 4 years. I am shocked he's starting. I would have went with Riley Leonard. I would never have drafted Riley Leonard as a quarterback. For some reason, Indy wants to draft these running quarterbacks, Richardson, and they want to get Daniel Jones, who runs. Oh, wait, yeah, he's got injuries. And then Riley Leonard, who's a running quarterback. He didn't do anything at Notre Dame. Their best quarterback's Bean, but they're not even giving him an opportunity, which is a big mistake. And now they go with Phillip Rivers, who's not mobile. And what's he going to do? He doesn't know the timing of his receivers. Probably doesn't know the receivers' names. I don't think they're that good. So you got Seattle in a must-win game. They're 10-3, tied with the Rams at 10-3 and the Niners at 9-4. Must-win for Seattle, and they're going to just kill Phillip Rivers. It's 14, though. What do? We can't lay 8 in the NFL. That's too much. So I've got my own way of betting that. But when you get this new quarterback or these prime junior quarterbacks who are very bad, you bet them my way. Tennessee and the Niners 12.5, 44.5. Again, no weather to worry about. Tennessee's a Z team with the 26 defense and Cam Ward, who sucks. Frisco, an A team with a 21 defense, and they got Purdy back, and they got Ayuk back, I think, or Jennings. They got the tight end, Kittle. They've got McCaffrey now. I don't understand. I'm watching the game last night, and McCaffrey's got a bad back all of a sudden. Is he playing? Is this real? He just gets all of a sudden he's got a bad back. This is what I hate. I mean, the injuries, that's it. Friday night, Friday afternoon, that's it. A Saturday night, McCaffrey with a back problem. I don't know. So we'll see. We'll check on our McCaffrey. Let's take a look right now if it says anything about him not playing. Frisco must-win game. They're a game behind both LA and Seattle, so they have to win to catch the division and to keep the wild card. So the winner and 2 wild cards are going to come out of the West. McCaffrey status, McCaffrey Leonard at practice. Christian McCaffrey, what status means for week 15. 49ers add McCaffrey to injury report, questionable with back. Is Christian McCaffrey playing today with back injury? Was it late add to the yeah, we know that. I hate when they write like that. Just get the fucking, is he playing? There's a yes, no answer, not, well, he was practicing and he was added Saturday night for Sunday's game. The running back is expected to play, though. Okay, thank you. He's good to go. All right, so we do have McCafferty here. So not sure what that was. That about betting? Was that about fixing the game, lowering the spread so they can come back? So they're 12 and a half, 44 and a half. I had them at 12, so 12 and a half now. So Ward against Purdy. You do have McCafferty. You do have Purdy. They deemed the game, and Tennessee sucks. Frisco, maybe you can take a stab under 7. I can see them blowing them out. I can't see Tennessee keeping it close, and Tennessee with the 26 defense. Playing Cleveland and playing the Niners are two different things, especially at the Niners, and they have to win. Carolina goes to New Orleans. Carolina 2.5, 41. Again, I don't know why Carolina can be favored on the road. They're an under team with the 24 defense and Steve Young. New Orleans is an under team with the 21 defense and Tyler Shaw. How they beat Tampa is a mystery, but then Atlanta beats Tampa. Now it's not so much. It's like, Tampa's not that good. So the league, this whole division sucks. Atlanta, who knows? Carolina, New Orleans is terrible. Again, they're settling with Spencer Rattler, and then they settle with Tyler Shaw, and they wonder why they can't win a game. Carolina needs the game 7-6. Now that Tampa lost, I think Tampa's 7-7. So we'll see. They're going to have a struggle at New Orleans. They're better. Kamara's out for New Orleans, but the other running back played okay. Obviously beating Tampa. Shaw, it was a mistake. He's getting sacked, and he runs out of it, and then he runs in for a touchdown. I mean, that's how we lost last week. I mean, it's crazy. So New Orleans, this will be a close game. There's no way Carolina's going on the road and blowing out New Orleans. Even though New Orleans is bad, they'll play. They'll play at home. Detroit goes to the Rams. LA 655. I gave you 40-32 LA. Detroit's an over team with the 26 defense and Jared Goff. The Rams are an A team with the 20 defense and Stafford. Stafford's lighting them up. Devontae Adams, Pukanuka, they got a running back. They got a good line. They got a good defense. They got a good coach. I'd much rather have Sean McVay than Campbell of the Lions, who, it's 4th down. We're supposed to go for it. We scored. We're supposed to go for 2. Oh, is that how it works? Oh, I'm too stupid to understand anything. Oh, should I punt and pin him back at the 5-yard line? No, I'm going to go for it at midfield. I mean, guy's an idiot. So I think Stafford lights him up. The top 2 safeties of the Lions are out. The cornerback's out. More injuries on the defense. The defensive line, Hutchinson is not recovered from his broken leg, and there's nobody else. So there's no pressure on Stafford. He's going to have all day, have a hot dog and a Coke, and just light it up to Pukanuka. And there's no way they can cover him. There's no way they're going to put pressure on him. Even if they blitz, Stafford's smart enough to read it, dump the ball off to the running back or Pukanuka on a quick one or the tight end. So the blitz won't have any effect on them. It's at LA, so it'll be nice and quiet. Look for them to light it up. And Detroit, I don't know if they'll get the 32. I think they will. I think they'll score at least in the upper 20s. So you know how I'm playing this game. I think the Rams win. Detroit's in a must-win, but they don't have a chance today, I don't believe. Maybe they do. They're 8-5, but the way they play better teams, and this defense, this is a horrible matchup. Stafford against this defense, they cannot stop him. He'll have 4 touchdowns today. So again, 40-32, depending on Gibbs and St. Thomas and the Lions and Golf not choking as he usually does. So look for Detroit to score some and the Rams to score a lot more. So go LA, beat Navy today. Green Bay, Denver, your free play. Take Denver as a home dog. At the time it was 3. Now it's 2. Green Bay's an under team with the 43 defense and Love, and Denver's an under team with the 17 defense and Knicks. This is definitely a Denver game. I got Denver winning 2017. I believe it's an under game also. Um, Green Bay might score. It's hard. This is a very good defense. I go to the Kansas City game where it was low scoring. Uh, they beat Philly. I mean, Denver's got some big wins, Philly and KC. And I think there's another couple, and they got screwed in losing. I think it was to Indy or one of those teams, and some stupid penalty. But they're 11-2. They should be 12-1. They're very strong. They're 13-0 in a teaser. They're 29-2 in a teaser since they got Bo Nix. They're 14-0 at home. They're not losing to Green Bay. Green Bay is a very weak road favorite, sort of like Buffalo. These teams are very strong at home because of the weather and everything. But when you get them at Denver and it's 60 degrees and sunny, it really helps Denver at home. They're not going to lose this game. So I give you the Denver home dog, although I would also probably want to give you the Denver under in the game. Being 43, it's going to go to 49. But I'm a little worried because of they both have decent offenses. In that Denver Giant game where they came all the way back, I'm a little concerned about the under because I think it should be an under, but I think you will get points in the game. Minnesota, Dallas. So as far as much win, neither team has their backs to the wall because they're both leading their division. So Denver at 11-2 doesn't really need the game. And Green Bay at 9-3-1 doesn't really need the game because they just beat the Bears and they got the Bears next week. So if they lose it, they got the Bears next week. Denver at 11-2, do they really need the game? No. I mean, when I say need the game, Buffalo needs the game. Houston needs the game. They have to win. Denver doesn't have to win this game. They lose, they're 11-3. We see San Diego at where's San Diego? San Diego's at 9-4. So if Denver loses and San Diego wins, which they're not going to, they'd be 11-3, and they'd be 9-4 or 9-5. What's San Diego? San Diego's 9-4. So San Diego would be 10-4, and Denver would be 11-3. They'd still have a game lead, and I think they get San Diego next week, and then they get Kansas City, I believe, one more time. So Denver doesn't want to lose this game, having to play San Diego and KC coming up, especially KC, who needs to win. But I don't think San Diego's winning. Kansas City has to win it at home, and it's cold. It's not what San Diego needs. And so Denver, I think maybe they need it. They're at home. I don't think they're going to fall down. I think if anybody doesn't come, it's Green Bay because they get the Bears next week. And they played a tough game with the Bears last week. So it's the Bears, Denver, the Bears. So Green Bay needs it, and we'll see what happens. Dallas, Minnesota. Dallas in a must-win, 6-6-1, can get to 10-6-1, which, again, nobody's at 10. Well, nobody in the NFC is at 10, so Dallas is still in it. Philly, the way they're playing, they might pass Philly. Minnesota 5-8 out of everything. They can go 9-8, but you already got Chicago and Green Bay at 9. Not losing, and they're not going to run the table. Minnesota, Dallas. I don't know. They're Heckle and Jekyll. I was going to say Jekyll and Hyde, but they're Heckle and Jekyll. It's 5.5, 48. This is a very complex game because you got a very strong defense with no quarterback, Minnesota, and you got this explosive offense, although Dak does throw a couple of interceptions, with no defense. So Dallas is a over at 27, and Minnesota is an under at 19. Which way do you go? Normally, the defense shuts down the offense, so this would lean more to a lower scoring game. Dallas at home scores a lot, put up 40 on Green Bay, who's got as good a defense as Minnesota. So I would think you'd have a little higher scoring, but you got J.J. McCarthy, so you can't count on him. So that's what really fucks it up. You really can't go over in a Dallas game with a team with no quarterback and a pretty good defense. So you're kind of paralyzed in this game. Does Dallas win Probably, but their defense sucks so bad. So we'll see. Pickens did not show up Thanksgiving. Don't know what that was about. Couple of passes thrown, and all he had to do was go to the ball, and he didn't, and he dropped them, and he looked terrible. In our last game, Miami at Pitt, this is actually a playoff game. Pitt's got a game late on Baltimore, who's going to struggle with Cincinnati today, 7-6. They're out of the wild card. Miami at 6-7 still has a hope because they can go 10-7, and nobody's at. Well, Denver and New England are at 11, so there's 2 gone, and there's 5 left, but they have no control over the Pitt Baltimore, so that's 3. And then the Jacksonville, Houston, Indy, probably Jacksonville and Houston. So that's 4. So they're not going to. New England and Buffalo are ahead of them. So what you have here is, well, Buffalo grabs one of the wild cards, and then Houston probably grabs the other one, and you got San Diego, and let's see what KC does. So Miami really doesn't have any hope. Mathematically, maybe if every team loses, which isn't going to happen. Pitt is playing for their division, so it's a little different. They beat Baltimore last week. You really never know what you get with Pitt, but you do know it's 20 degrees and cold there. So I would think this is an under game because of the cold weather. But you got Aaron Rodgers. Acne, the running back from A&M, who's Miami's big weapon now, is out. So now there's a problem there. So what are they going to do? They can't see. It's all these teams that have bad quarterbacks are running the ball. Carolina, Miami, Jacksonville, Indy. They all said, well, we know we don't have a quarterback, and we know the defense plays 5 defensive backs, 6 defensive backs. They're all pass rushing, and now running's back in the game. Now all these teams are running it down their throat, and they don't have the personnel to stop it because they either have pass rushers or 6 defensive backs or 5. And that's why you see Taylor running for Indy and Etnine running for Jacksonville and Dowdell running for Carolina. It's not the quarterback. No. It's the running backs for those teams. And it's smart. And I don't know why they got away from running the ball. They never should have. Oh, we can do 4 wide receivers. And no. And then they bring in 5, 6 in the secondary and they rush you. And now you don't have time to throw it. But if you run, they can't do anything. You can run it down their throat at the 5-yard line and score, but you can't pass it at the 5. All right. So that's the plays. Free play. Take Denver as a home dog. And I'll give you the Lions over because it's Christmas. All right. Weather. The Bears at Cleveland, 10 miles an hour. But if you hit the read more, so I am on NFLweather.com, and then you get this, and it's Cleveland at Chicago, and it tells you 10 miles an hour, wind 10 degrees and sunny. And then hit the read more button. And the read more button is going to tell you exactly. So it gets into this stuff, 10, sunny. Okay, we know that. It gives you a little paragraph. Sunny with a high near 13. Wind chill is 15 below, and that's what you're looking at. And then you go down a little bit more, which I just discovered. Kickoff, 10 degrees. Feels like -6. So you're looking at 6 below. Forget the wind and some gusts, okay? And, and you got Prime Junior. Good luck. This is going to be a running game. This is an Army-Navy game. Baltimore at Cincy. Again, I can't figure this out. 15 degrees with a light wind, and we go into the read more. And I'm just going to take you down to the bottom. Wait. Oh, it goes by quarter. I didn't even realize that. So if we just do kickoff, 12 degrees, feels like 2 and an 8-mile-an-hour wind, and we can go second quarter, and it's the same. Let's go to the fourth quarter. 14 degrees, feels like 1. So you're basically getting a 1 degree weather. It's basically 0 out. Now, not much wind. How can this game not be going under 51? Where are you getting 51 here? I mean, we love Joe Burrow, and we know Lamar can't even hit the broadside of a barn. But where are we going to get 50 points? The only way I can see it is if Joe Burrow goes off and hits Chase and nobody can tackle him because it's too cold and he gets 7 touchdowns. That's the only way I see this game getting anywhere near 50. So, I mean, in my mind, it's under, but how can I bet under on a Joe Burrow game? Even though it's 0, Lamar he can't hit the broadside of a barn. So this is a how nobody's betting this game. It just blows my mind that I'm not seeing 49, 48, 47. I do see it when I see hurricane games, like when Miami in October and all of a sudden there's a hurricane blows through and it's 30-mile-an-hour winds and that total goes from 40 to 30 and they don't get to 30. You can't throw the ball. So I don't know. I can't imagine this game being anywhere near 51 with this temperature. KC San Diego, we go from 17 degrees and a 4-mile-an-hour wind to kickoff 16 degrees, feels like 12, 3-mile-an-hour winds. So, okay, a little bit warmer at 12. Let's go to the fourth quarter. It warms up. It's 21, feels like 16. So by the fourth quarter, it'll be nice and warm. Not San Diego's type of weather, 16, 13, 13. So it starts off at 12, goes to 13. They'll be freezing. San Diego won't like it. No wind, really, which, this turns into a running game. Mahomes, I mean, all he can do is hit Kelsey. If Kelsey can catch the ball is another story for short passes. Herbert, what's he going to do? Run. Very strong defenses on both sides. Again, it's a cold game. Buffalo, New England, we got 30 and likely snow and 8 miles an hour. But let's see what we really got. Kickoff 31, feels like 24. Likely snow, 7-mile-an-hour winds, but not a lot of snow. Here it says chance of snow at 90%, but it's only an inch or two. So that's really light flurries. We don't care about that. We saw them play last week in heavier snow, and they played an 80-point game. Second quarter, 22, 9-mile-an-hour winds. Third quarter's feels like 22. And fourth quarter is 21 and 10-mile-an-hour winds. So this is the only game that actually might stay true to form. I don't think 22. I think they played it last week. Buffalo, Cincy was about 20, and we got 75 points. So I think that's where you're going with this game. Buffalo, always strong offense, no defense. Always will. This won't be a problem because it's Buffalo and they play in this, and New England's at home. So we'll see what Drake May is really like. This will be the game. This will be his test. So the New England will try to run on Buffalo. Buffalo, it's going to be Josh Allen putting up 30 points. The weather won't bother him. All right. Washington goes to the Giants. And let's see. Kickoff, 27 degrees. Feels like 17. Chance of snow. 14-mile-an-hour winds. 27, 17, and 13 miles. So it's a cool day, but not. This is the Giants in Washington. They're used to it. 15 degrees, 13-mile-an-hour winds. And then in the fourth quarter, 15 with 11-mile-an-hour winds. But you don't have Daniels. You got Mariota. You got Dart, who doesn't throw the ball anyway. And Neighbors doesn't play. Scadaboo's out. Probably more of a running game. You'll get some Mariota passes, but basically you've got cold and running. We'll see. Oakland, Philadelphia. Again, Philly on a 3-game losing streak. And we kick off 28, feels like 16 with 14-mile-an-hour winds. And you can see sunny. Second quarter, 27, feels like 14 and 13 mile. So you're going to have a kind of a windy day, kind of cold. 14 in the third quarter with 13-mile-an-hour winds. In the fourth quarter, 14-mile-an-hour winds, gusts to 27. This is not favoring an Oakland team who plays in a dome in Las Vegas. Should be in Oakland. And Philly off of a 3-game losing streak. They're going to probably run Barkley 75 times and play defense. You don't have Jalen Carter. You got fucking Kenny Pickett. What is he even doing in the league? It's just ridiculous. So Philly, I guarantee you, they grab the lead, they run and run and run and run. They can't trust Jalen Hurts. Can't hit the broadside of a barn. Oakland, Max Crosby could get in trouble. Brock Bowers might have maybe has a good day. I don't know. Philly with a good defense. Philly with a big pass rush. Pickett will try to run because that's what these quarterbacks do now. They drop back and then they run for 5 or 10 yards like a bunch of idiots. That's you're paid to throw the ball, not run it. You have Brock Bowers. What the fuck are you doing? Where Philly's just going to run. They're gonna run Barkley. A little bit of Hurts, but again, it's cold and it's windy, and that should not get a lot of points. Jacksonville, we don't care about. It's 72. We got a little bit of wind there, but basically, we've got. Yeah, are you serious? You've got Brady Cook from Missouri, who's never played, never touched the ball, is now your quarterback on a team that's a Z team with a 30 defense. So they don't score with Fields. They don't score with Tyrod Taylor. They had more of a chance with Taylor, but with Cook, this should be a shutout. Now, Jacksonville, how good are they? Well, they're an 18 with an 18 defense. They got a strong defense. So look, what was this? Those who they play last week. They beat Indy 36-19 last week. So they can score, Jacksonville. The total on this game is 42. So that's 48. So, okay, let's give Jacksonville 30 points on the Jets. Jets, nothing on Brady Cook. So they have a fairly good defense. Again, it's an 18. We will see. Arizona, Houston's in a dome. We don't care. Green Bay, Denver, we got 62 degrees. I'm not going to worry about that. 3-mile-an-hour winds. Detroit, LA in a dome. Carolina, New Orleans in a dome. Tennessee and Frisco, it's 54 and fog, so we don't have any weather concerns. Indiana, Seattle, we've got, again, Phillip Rivers going against this tough Seattle defense. 54 and some rain and 7-mile-an-hour winds. Again, Indy highly unlikely to score in the game. That's how you play these quarterback. Brady Cook, well, he's going to light you up. Rivers is going to light you up. Maybe he's on San Diego 10 years ago, but not. He hasn't played since 2020. He's going to come into Seattle with this strong defense and light him up. He'll be lucky to survive the game. Minnesota, Dallas in a dome, and Miami, Pitt. You're starting with 19 degrees. And let's see, kickoff, 11 degrees, 7-mile-an-hour winds, and fourth quarter, 11 degrees and 6-mile-an-hour. So you got a very cold day. I'm sure Miami won't like that. So that is our analysis today. We've talked injuries. There shouldn't be any new ones from yesterday. Why did they tell you how to watch? Sunday night, how to watch the Vikings net. Turn on the fucking TV. What do you mean how to watch? Where's my injury? Brandon Ayuk, 2025 season officially ends with 0 games played. Well, we knew he broke his leg. Coach Daniel Jones to be sidelined 6 to 8 months with his Achilles. NFL injury tracker. Yeah, see, this is a day old, so we already went through it. So nothing really new. Phillip Rivers to start. Tom Brady thinks he could pull a Phillip Rivers at 48. Tom Brady's on drugs. TJ Watt needed surgery to repair a lung problem, so he's out. Uh, and then can Colts Phillip Rivers really make a playoff push? No, he can't. Stop with that bullshit. So that's what you got. Your free play. Take Denver as a home dog because Green Bay's a lousy road favorite. As is Buffalo, actually. Buffalo's a lousy road favorite, but this is do or die for Buffalo. So you got to take that in. This is not do or die for Green Bay. And I'm throwing you a bone. LA 40, Detroit 32. Go over in the game. I'd be very careful taking Detroit in 12, thinking, well, they got a good offense. They'll stay close. I hear on the radio where they go, well, I don't think they'll win, but I'll think they'll stay close. You can't bet like that. You can only bet if you think the team can win. You look for a live dog. Denver certainly can and should win today as a home dog to Green Bay. We're betting Denver because we feel very strongly they're going to win today. Easily. I got them 20-17, but I'm getting 9. I'm not playing. Oh, I'll play the Lions. They'll probably lose to LA because of Stafford, but they'll keep the game close. You can't bet that way. You have to bet a team that you know is going to win. If we go down this, Arizona, Houston, Houston's going to win. Jets at Jacksonville. Jacksonville's going to win. Oakland, Philly. Philly, I think, can finally get a win. Washington Giants. I'm not betting Washington because I think they'll be close. I'm not betting the Giants because I don't like the game. Buffalo at New England. I take Buffalo as the dog, but I don't like Buffalo as the favorite. And I don't know that New England could win the game. So they're probably a live dog. They could win the game. San Diego, KC. San Diego is a live dog, but KC needs the game. So if you were to bet San Diego, it's not to keep it close because you think they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win because KC has to win, and they got Mahomes. When you got the best player in the league, you don't bet against him. So it's either KC or the way I bet it, but you can't bet San Diego because I think San Diego and 12 in a teaser is gonna cover, but they're not gonna. They have no chance of winning. You don't bet them. Cincinnati, Baltimore. I do think Cincinnati can win the game. I think they're a live dog, and I love the over until I get 0 degrees. So I had to leave the over, and you just so I bet Joe Burrow instead of over. Cleveland, Chicago. There's no way Cleveland's going to win this game. Chicago has to win. They're at home. It's 0 degrees, and they know how to run, and it's Prime Junior. So Cleveland, you don't bet Cleveland. I think they'll keep the game close. Not with Prime Junior. This is not Tennessee. They are playing the Bears in the cold, and it's not going to be good for Prime Junior. Indiana, Seattle. Indiana's got no chance to win with Rivers. Frisco, Tennessee. Tennessee has no chance. The Niners need the game. Carolina, New Orleans. I do think New Orleans has a chance. I think they're a live dog, but I'm not betting them. Carolina needs the game, but Carolina sucks. Detroit at the Rams, as I said. I don't think Detroit can win with their secondary and no pass rush, but I do think it'll be high scoring. Denver, we talked about. Minnesota, Dallas. I don't think Minnesota can win, so I'm not taking them plus 12. I've never had a thought of that because I see J.J. McCarthy. He did win at Detroit somehow, but I don't see that. And Miami goes to Pitt, and we've got this is Miami's probably a live dog here. They could win. They're not terrible, and Pitt's not that good. But I think the cold weather does have an effect on it. College football, we've got Troy, Jacksonville State, Troy 446 on Tuesday. So we'll start talking about that tomorrow. We'll go through these early bowl games, and we'll go through the playoffs. Troy is 446.5. Troy's an E team with the 24 defense. Jacksonville State, an over team with the 26. I'm not sure what I think there. I haven't really gotten into these because I've been focusing on the pros this week, and I know I got till next week. Playoffs, we've got James Madison at Oregon. Oregon laying 21, 50.5. We got Ole Miss 17.5, 56.5 to Tulane. They had played earlier, and Ole Miss killed them. A&M against Miami. Now there is a live dog in Miami. The A&M 3.5, 51.5. And then Oklahoma's now gone favorite. Alabama was 1.5, and now Oklahoma is now 1.5. Total of 40.5. Seems kind of low. You can go over 34. Alabama, now that's because they didn't score on Georgia, but Oklahoma with a very good defense too. But we'll see. I just, they played a 24-20 game because Alabama's quarterback Simpson threw an 80-yard pick six. We'll see, so Oklahoma really has very little offense and a very strong 13 defense. Alabama with the 17, but again, there's a high school game in there I got to take out. And Georgia just killed them last week, so we'll see. Then we've got on January 1st and the 31st, we got Ohio State on the 31st. We'll play one of the four winners, Texas Tech, Indiana, and Georgia. I'd say the best team is Texas Tech. I was talking Heisman Trophy with my friend in Florida, my BYU guy, and we couldn't believe Mendoza won it. He's a BYU guy, so he watched both BYU Texas Tech games. He goes, the best player in the country is the linebacker on Texas Tech. And I said, of course. Texas Tech has at least, I think, 3 or 4 defensive first-round picks. They aren't losing. I don't know who's going to beat them. Now, Ohio State's got that linebacker, a couple of linebackers, number 0 and another one. So Ohio State's got some top-round picks also. Mendoza is not the best player in college football. And if you're giving the award because they're number 1 and we give it to the quarterback on the number 1 team, this whole award's fucked up. That's not what the award. The award's the best player in college football. Mendoza's not close. He's not even he's not even a top 5 quarterback. Daggio Pava should have won the award if you're just giving it to a quarterback. Oh, but Vanderbilt, who played a tough schedule, unlike Indiana, and they went undefeated. Indiana beat Oregon. Give them credit for that. And then at Iowa, and then the Ohio State game. That's it. They played 3 games. Vanderbilt had to play Texas, Alabama back-to-back, and Tennessee, and a few other strong games, and they did very well. So, but he's the best quarterback. Is he the best player? I think Sonny Styles on Ohio State, the kid at Texas Tech. Wait till you see him. Those are your best players. I mean, by a mile. I mean, those guys. So a lot of defensive studs in the first round on those Texas Tech, Ohio State. Indiana, they have a great defense, but you just don't know the players. And Georgia always has defense, my Georgia guys. But Daggio is the best quarterback. So if I'm the Raiders, Washington's got their quarterback. The Giants need a quarterback, but they think they have Dart. That's like Daniel Jones. Indy needs a quarterback. I mean, you can go down the list who needs quarterbacks. We'll look at the draft order, but at this point, Oakland's got to get Daggio Pava because then they don't need an offensive line. He'll just run around and throw 5 touchdowns a game and run, and the Raiders will make the playoffs with him next year if they can get him. The Giants won't take him. They got Dart and who's terrible? Cleveland. I don't know what they're doing. They got Prime Jr. and they got Gabriel. Who knows what Cleveland does? Tennessee with Ward, he sucks. Jacksonville, they need a quarterback, or Indy needs a quarterback. Well, both of them need quarterbacks. So it gets you into that. But to tell me that Mendoza's the best player in the country is a joke. To tell me he's the best quarterback in the country is another joke. I don't know what you're looking at. And this guy is not the top quarterback. I don't even think he's a first round draft pick. Pavia and Robertson at Baylor are the top two quarterbacks by a mile. It's not close. So I don't get this whole Mendoza is the best. No, he's not. So anyway, that's what we have there. So enough of this whole Heisman Trophy. Let's stop it. You want to give an award for the best quarterback? Be my guest. You want to give an award for the best defensive player? Be my guest. To give a Heisman Trophy to say this is the best player is a fucking joke. It was a fucking joke when Danny Werfel won for Florida, or the kid from Florida State. And these shitty quarterbacks won. I mean, so it's been bad since the early 2000s. I don't even know why they have it. Oh, because it's on TV and they can sell commercial time. That's why they do have. That's why they got all these bowls. Oh, I can see everybody watching Troy Jacksonville State. Aren't we all going to watch that game? I'm going to cancel going to the pool and watch Troy Jacksonville State. I mean, these are Conference USA game. Like, who cares? We didn't watch them on Monday and Tuesday. All right. So let's see. We got 12 o'clock. We'll come back about 12:40 and look at the lines. Let's go. I showed you Mark McGuire yesterday. Mark's calling for $8,000 gold, $140 silver. Comex has collapsed because, as I tried to explain earlier, there's the hyperinflation tension of having no more silver for companies that need silver, like AI companies, computer companies, phone companies. These type of companies that need the silver, solar panels, they need the silver to put in their product. And if it's gone, they can't sell the product. So Apple can't sell $1,600 iPhones because they need the silver, as does Samsung, as does these other companies. So if they need that, they're in trouble. Here's one on Samsung's new battery tech breaks global supply. What's their new tech? They need silver in their batteries. Now, not that the batteries are going to last much longer, but they need it. So if they need it, they're buying it now before the supply runs out, because JP Morgan is sitting there saying we don't have any supply. So everybody thought JP Morgan had all this tons of silver in their vault. Of course, they lied, because that's what JP Morgan does. They're corrupt criminals. They were with Madoff. They were in the Ponzi scheme with Madoff, right? Madoff called them, hey, I'm gonna turn myself over to the FBI on Friday, so I would advise you to take your money. Today's Monday. And so JP Morgan asked for all their money from Madoff because they were in on the Ponzi. So these are the people running the gold and silver. So they lie about having gold and silver, which they don't. And so now everybody realizes it. And here's Samsung going, well, fuck, we need physical, or we can't sell phones or whatever it is they're selling. And that's what all these companies are doing. So now it's a panic. This is the frenzy we're waiting for. So when I explain Titanic to you, what do I say? I say, well, the Titanic is about getting off onto the lifeboat. But at the end, when the Titanic is sinking, everybody goes into a frenzy because they realize they're going to drown if they don't get on the lifeboat. So everybody runs to the lifeboat, but there's not enough lifeboats. We are in the frenzy now, corporate-wise, of buying silver. They realize there's not enough silver out there, and they realize the price is going up as it's now hit 64, 65. I haven't seen it hit 70. I don't know what they're talking about there, and I watch it all the time. So they're at 63 right now, or 62 on where I look, and gold's 4,300. So it's 4,300, 62. But they realize the 62 is not going to last if they can even find it, and that's only on COMEX. The real market, they're going to the mines, some of these big companies, and buying it for $100, $150 an ounce, right, from the mines, because the mines finally realize we've got them by the balls. They need silver to keep their companies going. So I cannot sell a Tesla without silver in the batteries. I can't do solar panels without silver in the solar panel. I can't do batteries without silver in the batteries, and all this AI shit. They need silver to run it. And if there isn't any more silver, they're fucked. So they're all scrambling to get the physical while it's still around, and they'll pay whatever price because they won't be able to make all these other. I don't know, so if I'm Apple and I can't make the phone and sell it. So what do? Well, I better buy a shitload of silver. Now, when I was in Alabama working at Toyota, the first thing I said to my boss was, "We need to buy silver. It's gone." And he just kind of laughed at me and told me to fuck off. And I'm like, oh, I don't like that. I'm not used to that where people are too stupid to listen to me. I don't. That's another problem in Alabama. They think they know everything, and they, that, who am I? I'm a Yankee from up north. I'm a northern boy, and with a master's. Oh, you can't listen to him. And that was the problem. So it ends up where it's a very, very,